The first and last piece of Certainteed UnderShield must always be a partial panel, as they must snap into the starter end clips. To do this, you must cut off the lock of the first and last panel. To determine how much of a panel to remove, however, you must make some calculations. To determine the number of UnderShield panels that will be needed and the width of the first and last piece, begin by measuring the width of the deck in inches. In our case, we have a 30-foot wide deck, which is 360 inches. Each panel is 6 inches wide, so divide the total number of inches by 6. So in our case, 60 pieces. Next, subtract 1 from the total number of pieces. In this case, 59. Now multiply this revised number by 6 to determine the total number of inches of full panels. Now subtract this number from the total measurement equals 6 inches. Divide the answer by 2. This will give you the width of the first and last panel. In our case, 3 inches. The measurement cannot be smaller than 2 1/4 inches. Adjust if necessary. Additionally, if using beaded panel, you must have a minimum of 3/4 of an inch of material next to the bead of the panel. To determine the number of grid bars required, measure the length of the deck. The first grid bar will be installed 12 inches from the ledger board. Intermediate grid bars are installed 24 inches on center. The last grid bar must be installed no more than 12 inches from the outer edge, which in our case is the beam. The total length of our deck from the ledger board to the beam is 14.5 feet. Grid bars will then be placed at 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and roughly 14 feet for a total of 8 bars. The grid bars are 8 feet long, so to determine how many bars it will take to go across the entire deck, divide 8 feet into the total width of your deck. In our case, 3.75 or 4 bars across. 4 across times 8 bars is 32 grid bars. UnderShield is designed for a maximum length of 16 feet. For runs longer than 16 feet, a divider board will be required. The divider board will run across the deck, dividing it into 2 sections. The divider board will need to be strong enough to support the attachment of 1 or possibly 2 gutters. We recommend 2x8 pressure-treated lumber. Again, in our case, the total length of our deck from the ledger board to the beam is 14.5 feet, so a divider will not be necessary. To help in estimating the components needed for UnderShield projects, Certainteed has an UnderShield Water Diversion System Materials Calculator available online at undershield.certainteed.com.